The Traitors has become a worldwide sensation since the Netherlands started with De Verraders in 2021, with over 30 countries now having either aired or commissioned a season, and some of those countries even doing so in multiple languages. There is a vast amount of seasons for the fans of the franchise to watch. This comes with a lot of research and work to actually find some of them, but recently Canada's Crave has added France and Hungary's version of the Traitors to their portfolio of available franchises to watch. Although showing multilingual content is part of Crave's portfolio, I question why more English language countries haven't bought the rights to some of the non-English versions. While I'm at it, why aren't they also picking up Canada's? That's in English, so what's the reason? Because I think they're missing out. Anyway, in this video I will give you my 5 reasons why others should follow Canada's lead and start showing non-English speaking versions. A lot of these countries are showing the English language versions. If you go to some of the websites of the broadcasters, you'll see the UK, US and sometimes the Australian and New Zealand versions, so why not reciprocate the love? Some with subtitles and others dubbing them. Even Slovakia, who has yet to air their own version, has dubbed the first season of the UK and US. There was a time when the UK's BBC were buying a lot of Danish and Swedish dramas to air, so reading subtitles while listening to Danish and Swedish wouldn't be something unknown to many Brits. The USA has a high amount of Spanish speakers, so why not pick up the Traitors España? Canada picked up France and could easily pick up the French-Belgian version. Bell Media has the Traitors Canada on CTV and Liège, also known as the Traitors Quebec, which is in French. Canada isn't the only country that has 2 language versions, as Belgium has French and Flemish versions. With South Korea announcing they will be producing their version, I wouldn't be surprised if this is picked up by other countries, given the popularity with Korean shows and entertainers worldwide, especially if South Korea ends up casting celebrities. With the current pattern of what countries like mine are currently picking to show, if South Africa chooses to have the show in English, which could be likely, it could possibly open them up to be picked up by multiple markets that might not do so if they pick Afrikaans. Though they also have the option to have versions in 2 languages, as Canada and Belgium have done. Some of the non-English language versions are better. Yes, I said it, and I'm sure many will agree. If you're tired of watching the US with yet another Bravo versus CBS Gamers with some randoms from other shows mixed in, and you don't want to see yet another Big Brother player picked as a traitor and fail miserably, then you have a good mix of general public and celebrity versions at your disposal. Even the celebrity ones will feel like the general public if they're not known to you. The dynamics are a lot different, even when they know each other. Hungary is one that I've seen a lot of people on Reddit recommend to others, and I can say it's one of my favourites. Some versions have ended up having some of the best faithfuls and traitors, though we won't talk about the fact that some of them even have some of the worst faithfuls and traitors too. Yes, there is a set of faithfuls that rivals Australia Season 2, even a couple of hosts are preferred over Alan, Claudia, Paul and Roger. See how different Korean in Canada is to Korean in Quebec. Some episodes have been unhinged, and some of these versions have produced moments that have not been seen before. Poland is a great example of this, and you can check out my video on one of those moments. I'll pin a link in the description. There are so many versions to choose from. Including the English language versions, there are over 50 seasons from the countries that have broadcast at least 1 season so far. There may be 1 or 2 people that have watched them all. I'm not one of them, but if that happens to be you, let me know. Some versions have been airing at the same time, so you could have ended up watching 5 concurrently. With more countries announcing their plans to air their version, you'll be well fed with the amount that's available, if you can get your hands on them. With Amazon Prime picking up India and Italy, the hope for fans would be that Prime make them available worldwide and not limit the shows to just their countries. India recently finished airing their first season and have already announced the second. Italy, Romania and Ukraine finished filming their first season along with Ireland. Now Brazil and Mexico are the latest countries to have announced plans to produce the show. I wouldn't be surprised if 1 or 2 more countries announce their intentions by the end of 2025. With so many versions comes many different episode lengths. The amount of episodes in a season can vary from 6 to 24, though Norway splits what would be a standard 12-episode season for others into 24. It's not just the amount of episodes in a season that varies, but also the running times. Not every country is kind enough to split their over 1 hour episodes into two. For some, one episode can be up to an hour and 30 minutes long. That doesn't always guarantee that the extra minutes will be spent showing the roundtable discussions, but you may see extra conversations in between breakfast, the mission, and the roundtable that will help give viewers a little more context to roundtable decisions and dynamics between the players. The missions are more varied. One of the issues I have with the UK and US being filmed back to back at the same location is that most of the same missions are used in both. This can mean many, including myself, just end up not paying any attention to the actual missions unless there is some extra weight outside of building the prize pot. With a lot of the others, they have a lot of different missions. Even if they reuse something that's been done before, the aesthetics are different. For example, if you've seen teams driving around answering questions to determine which road to take, well, watch Finland do that same task but in the snow, so you get added comedic moments of them slipping. Sometimes the traitors are given side missions on top of the main one to add to the pot. You also get to see some elements earlier in the franchise. For example, the dagger that gives you 2 votes at a round table. Only a few versions have now introduced this advantage. Those were some of my reasons, but if you've managed to watch any of the non-English versions, let me know in the comments which ones are your favourites and what you recommend to others. Until next time.